Hi everyone, welcome to week 2 deep dive. For this, we're going to be focusing on creating a high score and changing a little bit of our UI. So when you think about it, what is a UI? So UI is how things are shown to us and look. So for example, in Scratch, everything that you see here is a UI, from the little tabs to the section of code, to the blue motion, purple looks, where we have our sprites, where everything is placed, where we have this blue bar and all this information. This is all known as the UI, or known as user interface. So it's just what we're seeing. So for our game, for example, the UI would be this score that we have here because it's giving us information for our game. And it's specifically telling us when we have defeated an alien or a creature, and has given us a point. So now that we know kind of what a UI is, because this doesn't look that pretty on our game, we want to actually make it seem like this is a part of it and not just a little thing that we just checked off so that it can show. So to start off, we're going to go ahead and check this off to erase it. And we're going to go ahead and hover over choose a sprite and click on our brush tool. We're going to name this score. And we're going to go ahead and use our text tool. Make sure to pick a color that will stand out from your backdrop. So if you used a very dark color, then you want to use something nice and light in order to see it. If you used a very light color for your backdrop, then maybe you want to use something that's very dark, just so that it stands out and it's easy to see. So for me, since I use something very dark, I want to make sure that I use something light. And I'm going to use yellow, since yellow is a nice color to use against purple. So I'm just going to make this as bright as possible. Okay, now that I have that, I'm going to go ahead and pick my font. So I'll leave it as marker. And then I'm just going to type in score. Once I finish typing it in, I'm going to use my select tool, and I'm just going to make this bigger and put it in the center. Once I'm done, the next thing that I want to do is, on my actual screen, I'm actually going to go ahead, so let's go back here. I'm going to go ahead and drag it from the actual screen itself. So I accidentally didn't get to grab it, so I'm just going to do this instead. So I'm going to go into the yellow events tab, and I'm going to add when I receive green flag. I'm going to go ahead and go into looks, and I'm going to show. So I'm going to show. Let's make sure that it's in the front layer. So go front a layer. Make sure you're still in looks when you're doing that. And now we have it. So now I'm going to go ahead, click, hold, and drag it. And I'm going to put it in the top left-hand corner. When I move it here, you can see here that my X and Y position changed because now it's telling me exactly where it is on my score. So now that I have that kind of situated, I'm going to go inside of my blue motions tab, and I'm going to add a go to XY, and then I'm going to just copy this down. So negative 181 for my X and 152 for my Y. Okay. So this is going to be it for the score section. The next thing that we want to do is create the number counter. So we're going to hover over, choose a sprite. We're going to click on the brush tool, and we're going to call this score number. Once we do this, we want to click on our text tool, change the text, change the color if that's something you guys want to do. And then I'm just going to go ahead and click on an area, click on 1, make this selection just a tad bit bigger, and I'm basing it off of how big my score is. So maybe make this just a little bit smaller. So that's about good. And I'm just going to zoom in and put this in the center. So this blue plus has to touch this little gray one, and it'll snap right in. Once I have this, I'm going to duplicate this costume 10 times. So I'm going to right click and duplicate. I'm going to continue until I have all 10. So the idea is that I have one of each number to be able to create as many numbers as possible for my score, because we never know exactly what our player will have. So now that we have this all set up, all we need to do is use our text tool, click on the number, backspace, and put the next one. So this is 2, 3, and we're just going to continue this as we move down. So this is a nice way because then you don't have to continue making sure that it's all the same size, the same color, the same font. You already created the base for it, and all you have to do is just change it. Okay. 8, 9, and the last one is going to be 0. Okay, so now that we have each one of our different number costumes, the next thing that we're going to go ahead and do is code.